Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To our lecturer, Dr. Zahril Shahida binti Ahmad. Today we would like to present about our article review for topic web-based online public access catalog of IIT libraries in India, an evaluative study. Before we go further, I would like to introduce my teammates. My name is SHAFEENAZ binti BORHAM, and we have Nabilah Husniyah binti Jamil, BARIZA binti SAIDAM, Nur Athirah binti Ahmad Fauzi, and NURUL NABILA binti SAMDANI. Without further ado, let's get started with the presentation. Next, for this slide, it's about the overview. The overview about this slide presentation, we have introduction, review of related literature, objective, data analysis and interpretation, suggestion, conclusion, recommendation and reference. Next, I will continue for the introduction part. In this article, the introduction mentioned about OPAC and web-based OPAC. An online public access catalog, which is OPAC, is a major retrieval tool in libraries that help the user to access machine readable records for books, audiovisual material, with an indication of their circulation status. The OPAC also has revolutionized library service for two reasons, which is it offers up-to-date information, it offers multi-access point to information held in the library, and it enables access to information in local, regional, or national network. Next, for the introduction, I also mention about advantages of using OPAC. Advantages, which is it offers a greater number of access points for a single record. Next, it provides access to a wide coverage of information quickly. It provides information which is not available in printed form. Next, it connects to current information since online databases are updated speedily and more frequently. Other than that, web-based OPAC also mentioned in this introduction. Web-based OPAC is related with a graphical browser that use the internet to find the information. This is important to save the time for reader to get any information that they want. Web-based OPAC, or sometimes referred to as Web OPAC or Webpack. It is similar to OPAC, which is OPAC is searching and browsing, but it also has difference between OPAC and web-based OPAC. The difference is web OPAC or web-based OPAC is usage in global and can be searched from any corner of the globe. Next, it can be seen that OPAC and web-based OPAC has advantages and can make users to find the information quickly without wasting time, and it's easier for the user.
Hi, my name is Nabilah Husniyah. I will continue this presentation with a review of related literature. There are a few points for review of related literature. The first point is the meaning of OPAC. According to Mulla and Chandrasekhara in 2009, an OPAC is considered the heart of the library operation and gateway of library services, as it facilitates the patrons to be various services of the library and acts as an instrument of changes into this library. The second point is about the features interface of OPAC. According to the Yi, in 1991, the features are: first is the provision of entry vocabularies, second is the arrangement of multiplied entries on the screen, third is the provision of access points, fourth is the display of single records, and last is the division of the catalog into separate files or indexes. For this slide, I will present about 3 points: the problem with the OPAC interface, guidelines and checklists in the OPAC, and IIT groups. First, I will share the issues of effective user interfaces. The problem of OPAC interface, according to Bregman in 1996, is online catalogs remain difficult to use because their designs does not incorporate sufficient understanding of searching behavior. However, many other researchers mention in their article that they have addressed the problem of subject access searching and display mechanism in online catalogs. such as Marquet and Demeyer in 1989, Bates in 1989, McGarry and Servinius in 1991, Miko in 1991, and other researchers. The evaluation studies on OPEX are numerous, have appeared in the literature from as early as 1998. So, for this evaluation, OPEC has their guideline and checklist in OPEC display, such as labels, layout, text, and instructional information from Cherry in 1998. Last but not least, the last point is the Indian Institute of Technology, also known as IIT. IIT is a group of 50 autonomous engineering technology-oriented institute of higher education established and declared as Institute of National Importance by the Parliament of India. The location of this group, such as in Mumbai in 1958, Delhi in 1963, and others. This group is responsible for training scientists and engineers to develop a skilled workforce to support the economic and social development of India.
Next, for this slide presentation, it's about the objective. The main objective of this study was to evaluate the weight-based OPEC of IIT libraries in India, in particular such as to determine the different features of weight-based OPEC of IIT libraries in India. Next, identify the criteria for evaluation of weight-based OPEC to evaluate their weight-based OPEC with the help of specially designed criteria, and compare the features of different weight-based OPEC of the libraries under study. In this article also provide information about the examine the various features and components of weight-based OPEC of libraries under study. Next, the features and components. It also comprises of 122 dichotomous questions with 124 features, categorized as 11 broad categories, such as searching features, search limits and strategies, access point, bibliography display, output or service or facilities, external links, user assistant, page layout, labels, text, season filter, and general features. It can be seen that there are many features that make the user easy to find the material and information that they want.
Thank you, SHAFEENAZ, for the presentation. I will continue this presentation with data analysis. This testing checklist takes time for a month, which is from October until November 2010. It also takes 30 hours to spend on evaluation of web-based OPEC of IIT libraries. The responses received from evaluation checklist 1 to 122 dichotomous questions and 174 features in 11 major categories. Okay, next is the searching feature. Searching feature consisting 22 questions and 48 features. However, the score depends not only on the software ability but also on the customization undertaken by the libraries evaluate in their web-based OPECs. From the table, almost all the web-based OPEC provide search facility using Boolean, transaction, exact, virus, and proximity searching. Proximity operators are powerful information retrieval feature and are usually a factor in relevance ranking. Okay, next is search limit and strategy. The table shows that the mean percentage of score each web-based OPEC received is 50%. IITB and IITM score maximum point, followed by the IITD and IITG's 9 points. IITR score 6 and 4 points. The provision for comprehensive search limit in series and thesis was not found in any of the survey web-based OPEC except in IITR. Next is access point. The choice of access point is one of the most important features of OPAC. Currently, many researchers are investigating this problem, particularly in the subject areas. The table reveals the mean percentage of access point is very high, with 71.87%. The list's best OPAC of IITB occupied the top position with 93.75% of all features, followed by the list's best OPAC of IITD and IITG, receiving 75% point. The BTLS best OPAC of IITM, receiving 68.75%, while the IIT-KLS best OPAC received 62.5%. Lastly, the IITR web-based OPAC received only 56.25%. Next is output service facility externally. Output provision is usually a list of bibliography records with some holding information which may list alphabetically or by publication date. User can determine the usefulness of individual items without consulting the item physically. On average, only 50.5% of the various conversion features were provided by the survey web-based OPAC interface, which the maximum was supported by the IITD, IITG, and IITM best web OPACs. Next is the average percentage of user-assisted feature provided by the SIG web-based OPAC was 71.6%. 50% of the web-based OPAC evaluate indicator where remote users can get additional help by providing them with contact information such as phone number and email address. Most of the web-based OPAC studies were found to be lacking, such as systems which help users overcome problems in searching that relate to orthographical and typographical errors due to lack of knowledge of the subject heading used in the system in the absence of cross-reference. Next is page layout. From the table, almost all the web-based OPAC studies receive high score in the category, 80% or more. On average, they post 93.3% of the ID web-based OPAC layout feature. 3 out of 6 web-based OPAC score 100%, while the lowest scoring web-based OPAC was the IIT-KLS best OPAC with 80%. Okay, next is label. The table shows only 2 of the 6 web-based OPAC format labels right justified as recommended in the checklist, while IITD, IITG, and IITR based web OPAC scored highest score with 90%. The lowest scoring web-based OPAC was IITB with 20%. That's all from me, so I will pass the presentation to BARIZA. Thank you.
Thank you, Athirah. So I will continue for the next data analysis, which is text display. The average overall text display percentage was 72.7%, and text features are found in these web-based OPACs, except for text arrangement and also abbreviation in text. So the text should be arranged logically with related fields like author, edit, author entries, title, and also series, which should be grouped together as there should be some systemization in the arrangement of the entries. And also there are some redundant or repeated text that must be avoided. For example, the ellipsis-based OPACs of IITD and IITG, which use classification numbers, field twice in full display as class for the first field and the classification for the second field. And the maximum number was found to be up to 10 hits per page, while many had this feature as optional given to users for personal customization. So next, section filters and general features. So for this one, for the section filters, it's a viable filter like nature of content, language, publication date, location, and also context that filter which to restrict the result of search. And for the general features, library more focus to the library collections and resources as well as instructions for the login or logout. So for example, in table 10, most of the web-based OPEX show in every display the name of the catalog and the owning library. So timeout and login or logout features are very common. 5 web-based OPEX score 96%, while the average scores was 90%. So the next one is comparative statement of evaluation of survey web OPEX. So the comparative scores of the different features of the web-based OPEX under study as per evaluation checklist were compiled and presented in table 13. So the maximum scores each web-based OPEX could receive was 174 points, which present 100%. And table 13, as we can see, show that the average score of the web-based OPEX is 61.30%. For the VTLS-based OPEX of IITM got the highest score of 131, which is 75.3% features, which followed by the ellipsis-based OPEX of IITD and IITG obtaining 130, which is 74.7% each. So the result also indicated that a VTLS-based ellipsis-based OPEX had the highest scores on an average. So next data analysis is mean, minimum and maximum percentage of desirable features. So the mean percentage of features related to page layout, general features, bibliographic display, labels, text, access point, and also users' system features, which is get the high scores. And for the related to searching, search limits, and output services or facilities or external links and search filters are getting the below average. So the next one is rating scale for study web-based OPEX. So the range for the rating scales was as follows, which is the highest one is excellent, above average, average, below average, and also need improvement. So the last one is ranking of web-based OPEX survey. For this one, the ranking was especially helpful in bringing together all the individual web-based OPEX feature scores, and the system performed extremely well in accomplishing its original two goals, which is the first one is to provide quantitative indicators of quality, and the last one is to serve as a means of justifications of qualitative data. So I will getting to the next point, which suggestions will continue by Nabilah SAMDANI. Thank you.
Okay, I will continue this presentation on part suggestion for improving web-based OPEX of IIT libraries. Since BARIZA and Athirah have explained about the data analysis and interpreted on 11 broad categories that has been done by the authors in this article, therefore every result show that the evaluation has come out with the 6 suggestions for improvement. The first suggestion given by the authors is to recommend IIT libraries and ILMS vendor, which is ILMS is Integrated Library Management System, to consider about the incorporating capabilities like thesaurus search, language translation, federated search, meta search functionality, facilitate navigation, visual maps, and improve menu. This is because analysis on the category of searching features, none of the survey web-based OPEX score at the thesaurus search and language translation. According to the Brady 2007, today's typical library user are web savvy and have a very high expectation. Therefore, library survey should explore such a relatively new features in their web-based OPEX and also to improve their web-based OPEX usability. Okay, second suggestion by the authors is offering vertical portal in web-based OPEX. So basically, the goals of vertical portal is to help user find what they need without leaving the same web space. In this way, loyalty is solved, which encourage them to continue using the website. So from this, it can show that much of the success of a vertical portal lie in the quality of the content that has been offered. As suggested by the authors to put user reviewing, tagging, RSS feed. RSS is really simple syndication feeds, which is an online file that contains details about every piece of content a site has published. In a simple explanation, it tells that reader it tells the reader when the new materials such as new articles, blog posting, audio or video clip has been published in the website. Other than that, authors suggest to integrate short message service aka SMS in OPAC to facilitate library book service on mobile phone, as based on the user assistant evaluation, most of the web-based OPAC study lack in help systems. In fact, some of the help message from some of the web-based OPAC IIT libraries were not useful because the help information is very simple and somehow unrelatable. Besides, another suggestion for improvement at the session filter, such as the nature of the content, language, place of publication, publication date, location, and context date filter to strict the result of the search and limit or narrow down the searches. The reason for this is that one of the IIT libraries, surprisingly, there is no filter was found in the 10th class based OPAC of IITK. However, only VTLS based OPAC at IITM have all 7 different type of filters as provided in the checklist. Meanwhile, others shows 3 out of 7 and web-based OPAC of IRTR only support 1 filter. So strictly to take a look on the session filter because these features mainly used to limit or narrow down the searches. Next suggestion from authors in this article is improvement at features which related to searching, search limit and strategies, and output or service or facilitate or external link to the other sources. This is because at the table 3 in article state that search limit in serial antithesis was not found in any of the survey web-based OPAC except IITR. In fact, Babu and Tamis Shervan 2003 has stated that search limit allocation is an important feature in OPAC, even though results also showed only 4 out of 6 web-based OPAC support that the display of table of content, since external sources like table of content is useful in helping users to better determine the relevance of particular title to their information needs. Therefore, IT libraries need to take note on this suggestion. Therefore, IIT libraries need to take note on this suggestion since it's improved the search effectiveness of users. Okay, last but not least, authors suggest to link IIT libraries collection to the Google Scholar in order to ensure that users are directed to locally held copy of resources, as Google is also offering its library link program, which is enable libraries using an open URL link resolver to include a link from Google Scholar to their local resources as part of the Google Scholar search results. Since has been mentioned by the authors that OCC WorldCat database has already been harvested by Google Scholar, so that's all the record in this database are researchable via Google Scholar. So next, we move to the recommendation parts, where authors hope that the libraries at IIT will take into account the shortcomings and develop fully functional web-based OPAC with the Web 2.0 and 3.0 technologies. For the conclusion, authors conclude that if there is no action done on this web-based OPAC, possibility user will find other web search engine rather than using the library OPEX. This problem needs to be concerned for the librarian, as they must make sure users use library services provided for their information needs. Okay, on the last part of this article, the author have put all the references in the bibliographic parts after the conclusion. In order to complete this writing, Magan Mahusudan and Shalini Agarwal used 99 materials to be referred, and most of them are in the range of 1986 to the 2009 year of publication. All of these references are used to support the part of literature review related to the OPEC, like features for user interface, referring a useful checklist to evaluate display design, as well as features of the web-based catalog with minor modification. With all the points of the article review that has been presented, other libraries and feature researchers also can use this article as well as result survey as a references for them to improve web-based OPEC at their own library. So with that, thank you for lending your time, and we hope that you get the point from this article review.